Welcome to Stories of History. I am your host, Virgil. Today, we're diving deep into the mystery of Easter Island. You know, the place with those giant stone heads, the Moai. But, it's more than just a tourist destination. Easter Island holds a story of human ingenuity and cultural practices, and ultimately a cautionary tale about our relationship with the environment. Get ready to uncover what really happened on this tiny island, thousands of miles from any other civilization. To truly grasp the enigma of Easter Island, we need to get a sense of just how isolated it was. Picture this. The closest continent, South America, is over 3,500 kilometers away. That's like flying from New York to Los Angeles and then some. And if you set sail in the other direction, the nearest inhabited land, well, it's a speck of an island belonging to New Zealand, with a population so small you could probably fit them all in a double-decker bus. Back in the day, before modern communication, this made Easter Island the most isolated, inhabited place on Earth. It's mind-boggling to think about, isn't it? The whole civilization thriving in complete isolation for centuries. Now, you might be wondering how this tiny dot in the vast Pacific Ocean ended up as Chilean territory. Well, the answer lies with a Chilean military officer named Policarpo Toro. In the late 19th century, Toro led a scientific expedition to Easter Island, and what he found there shocked him to his core. The island was practically barren, almost completely deforested. Just over 100 native Rapa Nui people were left, struggling to survive in these harsh conditions, exploited by passing ships. Toro, however, saw an opportunity amidst this desolation. He believed Chile could help the Rapa Nui people, while also strategically claiming this remote outpost in the vast Pacific. And so in 1888, Chile officially annexed Easter Island. It's fascinating how even in the late 1800s, the strategic importance of location played such a significant role. Though it's worth noting that Chile later leased the island to the British and French for a time, it seems they were still figuring out what to do with this seemingly worthless, deforested island. But here's the thing, Easter Island wasn't always a desolate landscape. In fact, it was once a thriving paradise. Archaeological evidence suggests that it supported a vibrant culture and a population that may have reached 20,000 people. Imagine that. 20,000 people living on an island roughly a quarter the size of Menorca. They had a complex social structure, a rich belief system, and were remarkably skilled engineers and artisans. But as their population grew, they needed more land for crops. And that's where we start to see the seeds of their downfall being sown. They began cutting down trees. And I mean, a lot of trees. Now, this deforestation wasn't just about creating farmland. It was also intrinsically linked to their cultural practices, particularly the creation of those iconic Moai, the massive stone statues, that become synonymous with Easter Island. The Rapa Nui believed that each Moai represented a deceased chief of a clan. These chiefs were deified upon death, essentially becoming gods in their belief system. They carved a Moai in the likeness of each deceased chief, believing that these deified ancestors would then protect them from harm and bring fertility and good harvests. So these statues weren't just artistic expressions, they were deeply intertwined with the Rapa Nui's spiritual beliefs and their hopes for prosperity. And here's where the story gets even more intriguing. To transport these colossal statues, weighing tons, they used rollers and levers, crafted from, you guessed it, tree trunks, hundreds of them. Over 900 Moai were carved, each requiring a significant amount of timber for transportation. You can start to see where this is heading, right? The Rapa Nui weren't deliberately trying to destroy their island. They were trying to honor their ancestors, ensure their prosperity, and maintain their way of life. But in doing so, they unknowingly set off a chain reaction that would drastically alter their world. The once lush forests, teeming with diverse flora and fauna, began to vanish. Palm trees, essential for building, tools, and even canoes, disappeared completely, crippling their ability to fish and navigate. The loss of topsoil led to decreased agricultural yields, further straining their resources. And this ecological decline coincided with another blow, the arrival of Europeans. Explorers and traders brought with them diseases like smallpox, to which the isolated Rapa Nui had no immunity. The population, already weakened by dwindling resources, was decimated by these foreign illnesses. Then came the slave traders, adding another layer of tragedy to the unfolding crisis. They captured islanders, further reducing the already dwindling population and disrupting their social fabric. The result was a near extinction of the Rapa Nui people, a tragic testament to the fragility of even the most resourceful civilizations. When faced with ecological collapse and external pressures, the question then becomes, was this a case of ecocide? The destruction of the environment by human action leading to irreversible consequences? Or was it a more complex interplay of factors, including cultural practices, population pressure, and the devastating impact of European contact? The answer, as with most historical events, is not so simple. There's no single villain in this story, no one to point a finger at and say they did it. It's a nuanced and layered tale that forces us to confront uncomfortable truths about our own relationship with the environment. Remember, to the Rapa Nui, these weren't just statues. They were representations of their deified ancestors, powerful figures who held sway over their lives. They believed the Moai offered protection, brought fertility to the land, and ensured good harvests. They were essentially investing in their future, both spiritually and materially. Each clan had its own Moai representing their lineage and their connection to the divine. The larger and more impressive the Moai, the more powerful and influential the clan. So there was a social element to this as well. It was a way for clans to display their status, their wealth, and their piety. The construction of these Moai was a communal effort, a way for the Rapa Nui to come together, express their shared beliefs, and reinforce their social bonds. It was a tangible expression of their culture, their identity, and their place in the world. It's a stark reminder that even the most well-intentioned actions can have unintended consequences, especially when we fail to consider the long-term impact on our environment. The story of Easter Island is a cautionary tale, but it's also a story of human ingenuity, resilience, and the enduring power of cultural beliefs. It's a story that forces us to confront uncomfortable truths about our own relationship with the natural world, and to think critically about the choices we make today and the legacy we leave behind for future generations. Keep questioning, keep exploring, and keep those minds engaged. Until next time on Stories of History.